Hey you guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe so you can be notified when I go live or upload a new video, and please like this video. Also, I do want to say that anything I say in this video is just my opinion. It is alleged and is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I encourage you to do your own research. So with that being said, I want to take this time to kind of take a break from Nature Boy right now. And I know I talked about before that I wanted to dive off into trying to doing like looking into cases and case files and interesting stories. So the first true crime story that I want to dig into is the story of Fidel Lopez and Maria Nemeth. Now, I did a crime, I guess a case crime, true crime video before, like once or twice before, and I really liked it. So there are times when I want to take a break from Nature Boy and I want to dig into these cases and talk about it. Cases that, you know, are pretty graphic, and also cases that you guys, you know, I would like for you guys to, you know, leave in the comment section what you guys want to discuss, what cases you guys thought that were interesting and that you want to kind of dive into. So I'm going to go ahead and get into this video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Now, when I started getting into this case, I had no idea how much information that went into this case. So I am just going to warn you now that this is going to be a two-part video. So this is going to be part one. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the story. This is the story of Fidel Lopez and beautiful Maria Nemeth. Maria was a 31-year-old and Fidel Lopez was 25 years old. He was a father of two by another woman. Maria was also previously married. She had been married for about 8 years before she had left her husband and then later met Fidel. Now, Fidel and Maria had been together for about a year, and from the looks of things, the couple seems to appear pretty happy, and there doesn't seem to have been any past history of any physical violence. It was said that Maria was a very private person, so if there was a pattern of any type of abuse, it's likely Maria had never spoke of it. Fidel had described Maria as a perfect person. Everything in the relationship seemed to have been going well. The couple decided that they wanted to take their relationship to the next level and move in together. So they first moved in with Fidel's family while they looked for a home that they could share together. And eventually they did find an apartment. Fidel worked as a mechanic, and if anybody knows anything about mechanic work, it's a hard job with long hours. Well, Maria was at home waiting for her man. We all know what it's like, you know, being in a new relationship where, you know, you're all giddy, you're all happy, it's just a good time. I think we've all been through that. Well, on September 20th, 2015, Fidel was just getting off work and making his way home, and Maria was at home cooking up a special meal for her man. He eats the food she cooked, and if you could just imagine him telling her how much he loves her cooking, and giving her compliments, and just, that new relationship vibe, just moving in together. To Fidel, Maria, she was just, he described her as just the most wonderful person he's ever met. I think Fidel must have put Maria on such high standards, because that's what it seems like. It just seems like he placed her up on this pedestal that she to him, she is a perfect person, a perfect woman, and just such high standards that he had for her. And he felt that she was so perfect. And sometimes when we put someone on that pedestal that they can do no wrong in your eyes, that when they do make a mistake, you don't know how to handle it, because you set that person so high. After eating the meal Maria had prepared for him, the couple left to go visit with Fidel's mother, and then on the way home stopped by their local Chili's for a couple drinks, margaritas. They were feeling a little tipsy and decided they would stop at a liquor store for a bottle of tequila. Once the couple arrived home, they turned on some music, sliced up some lime for tequila shots, and they just sat around talking, taking their shots, talking about family, talking about just life, just a new couple in a relationship, just sitting around, taking some shots, listening to music. They ended up finishing half the bottle. Once half the bottle was drunk, something happened that caused Fidel to snap. Fidel began to scream and destroy the apartment that they shared. Maria must have been pretty tipsy herself, but she must have felt so afraid and shocked. I mean, she probably never really saw the side of him before. Fidel was breaking windows, punching holes in the wall. When police arrived, Fidel was sitting next to Maria's naked body. There was blood all throughout the home, and the police asked him how the home got destroyed. Fidel stated that he couldn't remember what happened, but after the police experts further investigated, they noticed that Maria had been, and I hate to say this, she had been disemboweled. Fidel had been questioned by police for hours before finally coming clean. Fidel claims that while they were having sex, Maria called out her ex-husband's name twice. This, in return, ended up angering Fidel, throwing him into a fit of rage where he broke windows, punched holes in the wall. After he destroyed the apartment, he returned to the closet where Maria was unconscious, but still very much alive. At this point, he began to insert objects into Maria's vagina and anus. An iron, a beer bottle, and his arm all the way to his elbow. He pulled out internal tissue and her intestines from her body. He explains how something came over him and he turned into a monster. Afterwards, he panicked and took her into the bathroom, where he splashed water on her face as if she would somehow awaken after everything he had just done to her. He washed his arms and went outside for a cigarette. Keep in mind that when all this was going on, the neighbors, it was during the interrogation, they had stated that the neighbors heard him screaming. They heard, loud noises going on for hours. But it was later discovered that there were other neighbors who heard screams of pain. Keep in mind that as all this stuff was going on, the neighbors heard everything. They heard yelling between Fidel, and they heard screams of pain. They heard glass breaking and thumping so hard that they thought that the ceiling fan was going to fall in their apartment. One neighbor said they heard screams of someone in pain. No one called the police during all of that. In fact, it was Fidel who called the police. I find it very hard to believe that Maria was in the closet unconscious while he was doing all of that stuff to her. I don't believe that. I have a hard time believing that. So after Fidel smoked a cigarette, he went back inside to try to hide the intestines and some evidence and check on Maria. When he noticed she wasn't breathing, he called 911.
911, what is your emergency?
Hello? Fucking hurry up, man. My girlfriend's fucking in the bathroom. She's gonna pay for it. I mean, oh my God, she's gonna die, man. Come on. Okay. Come here, man. Please. I can barely understand what's going on. But my God, she was slinky and like, I don't know when she went to the bathroom or when I went there, it was full blood and everything like, I don't know, man, she's not breathing. I mean, like, she's gonna die, man. Come on, shut up. That's all I have right now, man. I don't know. I just smoke right here, man. I just smoke right here. I don't know the happened.
Let's talk in with the address on it so we can get her some milk.
Daddy, come on, man. Please don't fucking close your eyes, Daddy. Come on.
Okay. I need to look for something with the address on it so we can get her some milk.
Oh, man.
Sir, I need the address so I can get her some milk.
Listen, I'm right. I don't know, it's just to be outside with the dominant scammer. I don't care. She was here. She just rented the apartment with me. She was here. She's a sister money in this fucking
okay.
I don't know, man. She's not breathing, man. She's not breathing. She's gonna die. She's not breathing, man. Come on, man.
What apartment are you in? Sir, tell me what apartment are you in?
Okay, come on, Robin, please send the phone right here. She's gonna die, man. Come on, she's gonna die.
So I'm gonna send you some help, okay?
The crime scene showed proof of struggle. The neighbors saying that they heard screams of pain indicates that to me, and this wasn't discovered right away, this was later on when the more neighbors started coming out and speaking, that they heard screams of pain. This indicates that Maria was not asleep during all of this. She was fighting, in my opinion, she was fighting for her life. Fidel did not, and this is not to defend him, but Fidel did not have any past criminal behavior or any behavior of violence outside of a 2014 drunken disorderly charge. Fidel claimed it was a moment of darkness, what he did. You guys, they call alcohol spirits for a reason. You take a chance and open the door for these spirits every time you make the choice to consume and abuse alcohol. That's just my opinion. I mean, we've all had a few here and there, we have. But that's just my opinion. They call it spirits for a reason. I think that's what happened in this case. I think, something dark got a hold of him, and most normal people, they don't, even if you're drunk or not, you're not capable of something like this. It's just not in the human nature to do something evil like this. I think he was very methodical in his thinking. He went back into inside the home to hide evidence after he smoked a cigarette. He went back inside to try to hide the intestines and try to hide other evidence, I guess. Also, when I was listening to the police interrogation, he stated that she wanted to leave and go back to her country of Peru with her mother. I think if I were questioning him, I would have focused more on that, much more so than what they did, because I think that could have been a motive. Maybe he said, if I can't have you, no one will. Because, keep in mind, he has 2 children that he didn't want to leave. And he didn't want her to leave him. He probably was kind of possessive over her and thought, well, if I can't have you, nobody else will. I don't know. I'm going to play some of the questioning for you guys in part 2 of this video. And I know I have some subscribers. Sorry, I'm getting tongue twisted because this case is just sickening. It really is. I know that some of you guys are like little detectives, and even with Nature Boy, you guys are rarely ever wrong. So I want you guys to let me know in the comment section after you hear part 2 what you guys think triggered him. Was it the fact that she wanted to leave and go to Peru? Do you think that it was because she called out some other guy, her ex-husband's name twice? Do you think that? Let me know what you guys think. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and play the videos of the interrogations, and that will be in part 2.